Consider this statement: this sentence is not true. Suppose it is true. Then it says that it is not true, so it must not be true. But this contradicts our assumption. So, it cannot be true after all. But then this means that it is not true that the sentence is not true, or in other words, it is true. This is again a contradiction. To summarize, it is both true and not true. This condition of contradiction is termed the liar paradox. If this sentence is false is true, then it is false, but the sentence states that it is false, and if it is false, then it must be true, and so on. Trying to attest a truth value to such sentences always end up in, you guessed it, a contradiction. Let us take it up a notch with another example. Consider two new sentences. The following sentence is true. The previous sentence is false. Did you observe how the same contradiction holds good again? Here's a breakdown of how this becomes a paradox. Assume the first sentence is true. Then, the second sentence is true. This would mean that the first sentence is false. Therefore, the first sentence is both true and false. Assume the first sentence is false. Then the second sentence is false. This would mean that the first sentence is true. Thus, the first sentence is both true and false. Either way, the first sentence is both true and false, we end up with the same paradox. The problem of the liar paradox is that it seems to show that common beliefs about truth and falsity actually lead to a contradiction. Sentences can be constructed that cannot consistently be assigned a truth value, even though they are completely in accord with grammar and semantic rules. The two examples were posed just to give you an idea of contradicting results to the true value state of any given system. To put it in simple words, the real truth cannot be determined in certain cases. You might as well say that there is no true value in certain cases and scenarios. This happens due to overlapping values. There is one catch here though. All logic used in today's world is based on three fundamental laws of thought devised by the Greek philosopher Plato. The liar paradox, however, brazenly negates one of the three laws, the principle of bivalence. The principle of bivalence states that every declarative sentence expressing a proposition, of a theory under inspection, has exactly one truth value, either true or false. But a liar paradox has two truth values, both true and false. Kind of like the thought experiment proposed by Mr. Erwin Schrödinger, where the existence of a system is described by two superimposing states. For those who do not know the experiment, here's a brief insight into the same. In Schrödinger's imaginary experiment, you place a cat in a box with a tiny bit of radioactive substance. When the radioactive substance decays, it triggers a Geiger counter which causes a poison or explosion to be released that kills the cat. There are two possible outcomes to this case. One, where the cat dies due to the decay of the radioactive substance. Two, where the cat survives due to the radioactive substance failing to decay. Since there is no conscious observer present, the whole system stays as a combination of the two possibilities. The cat ends up both dead and alive at the same time. Although the liar paradox and Schrödinger's thought experiment differ vastly in how they are postulated and in the laws that govern them, there is a small bit of takeaway from both cases. Schrödinger's thought experiment was devised as a tool to point to a flaw in the Copenhagen interpretation of superposition in quantum theory. Likewise, the liar paradox could be used as a tool to point out the fact that the principle of bivalence does not hold good in all cases. So, the next time you hear something that doesn't make sense, try not to be too judgmental. Take it with a pinch of salt and move on. Remember, not everything you see or hear might be true or false. There is always a side to every situation that you do not know. When you're not sure of what is true and what is false, how can you determine if something is true fallacy or falsified truth?